hide things. If you hide a girl's nose and say to a guy, you ever see a girl's nose? No. Show him a little bit, he has to loosen his collar. If he's brought up to that. So if boys and girls swam nude in the world today, there'd be no such thing as a peeping Tom. When you show them a picture of a nude girl, you say, so what? You understand? We sell girly magazines in different positions. All that's nurtured by the culture you live in, a bullshit culture. Strictly that. So if you really want a better world, we have to declare all the Earth's resources as a common heritage of all the world's people. So somebody got up and said, you want to give people things for nothing, don't you? I said, yes. I said, if you're born in America, you got the radio, the telephone, the bicycle, the airplane, the automobile. None of you worked on that stuff, I'm sure. Is that right? You got it for nothing. Does it hurt you? No. If we didn't have those things, men would be pulling boats along the water if you didn't have technology. So it isn't congressmen that give you anything. Let me put it your way. If you took all the American presidents all the way back, they were all horses' asses. Very stupid individuals, because they had no substance. The same with your politicians here. Do they mean well? Yes. They're stupid. They can't do anything else. Now they say, well, what do we have to do? When I was a kid, I wanted to know how airplanes can fly on this thin substance. None of my relatives knew. So I went to the library and got a book out on the Wright brothers, but I was anxiety-ridden. I wanted to know how airplanes fly. And when I opened the book, it says it was a sunny day in May, and Mrs. Orville Wright was hanging clothing on the line. That bothered my ass no end. That didn't tell me what I want to know. The book, most of the book was sunny day in May, bullshit. Near the end of the book, they killed the pigeon and put wires in its wings and moved the wings forward and backward and long. That was information. All your school books have a lot of sunny day in May. And you have to learn how to read and scratch. So I get a lot of technical journals, and sometimes a doctor comes up with a wonderful idea. And in the book it says that Dr. Jones has 3 children, Shirley, Jennifer, and Bill. I don't want to know that. I just want to know what he did to make medicine better. But underneath that, you can put, if you want to know about his life, you got that. There's so much information coming in the world today, we don't have time for sunny day in May. All your soap operas and movies are bullshit. The same story over and over again. In the future, you'll have a soap opera, but the little girls say, I want to become a social anthropologist. And Daddy says, what's that? And you show it. So that each movie that you see makes you a little wiser, a little smarter. When you come out of the movie, you have a better perspective of life. They teach you in school how to live, how to find meaning, how to communicate. How many ever heard of a book called The Tyranny of Words by Stuart Chase? 1 hand, 2 hands. Okay. If you get that book, I don't sell it. Just maybe you can get it on the internet. The Tyranny of Words tells you that people don't hear what you say. It goes through their head and comes out different. You say, that's not what I said. Oh, yes, you did. See, and if you bring people up with that divergence in language, it's hard to be sane. So we say that most people are not insane. They're unsane. Unsane means they're brought up to think that Polacks are dumb. And the best thing, you get a big Polak to clean out your cellar. And you know all Irish are drunkards. So all Jews are chiselers, and all Italians are gangsters. So you make up all those little stories, and it's difficult for people to understand other people. If you don't understand what I'm saying, if you're brought up by an Eskimo family that never saw movies, never saw anything, and you say, what do you want? You can have anything you want. The Eskimo never says a twin-engine Beechcraft. He never says, I want a stainless steel refrigerator. Because he can't say that. You can only say things within your culture. That's what I mean by man can't think or reason. If you go over to Seminole Indian and say, you can have anything you want, what do you want? He doesn't say, I think I'd like 2 electron microscopes. Can't say that. And if an Indian does that, they dance around the fire with feathered hat, you say, now that doesn't mean anything. He says, geez, thanks for telling me that. He gets mad at you. People can't understand things they haven't been exposed to. And schools make damn sure that you can't understand certain things. Otherwise, today they make you a cog in the wheel. He's a carpenter, he's a bricklayer, this man's a machinist. One little profession and nothing else. And that way you can use people, you can abuse them, and they don't even know they're being abused. So, people say, I believe in decency and ethics. You hear that all the time. Another person comes over and says, I'm a spiritual person. I'm sure you've heard that shit. And I say, you're a spiritual person. You don't have any locks on your door, and if there's poor people, you invite them in your home and feed them. Oh, no. Oh, what the hell do you mean when somebody says something? Always ask them, what do you mean by spiritual? What do you mean by, a person comes to me and says, I'm a member of a club of higher consciousness. I said, what does that mean? Higher consciousness. So I said, where's your kidney? I'm not sure. How fast is the blood moving to your vein and artery? I don't know. What do you mean by higher consciousness? A lot of people are as full of shit as a Christmas turkey because they really don't know what they're talking about. And all your newscasts is managed news. You get Army people and Navy people and congressmen talking about the war. You don't have social scientists. You don't have behavioral scientists on the air giving you their point of view. And a lot of people believe they live in a democracy. Biggest lie ever told. If you lived in a democracy, let me tell you what a democracy would be like. We would invite the president to criticize another country, and he'd speak for 1 hour. When he's through, I says, anything else you want to say? No. Then we invite the prime minister of the country he criticized on the air. And he gives his side of the story. Then we invite the Prime Minister of Sweden. Says they're both full of shit. This is how I see it. That's a democracy. But if you just got religion on Sunday, that's not democracy. If you had comparative religion, what different people believed all over the world and what some people don't believe all over the world, that's a democracy. When you got one point of view, whenever you hear the words freedom and democracy, watch out. It means you don't have it. When people are free, you don't have to tell them they're free. Now, we put up a sign, anyone can come to America. It's a free country. So the Arabs came years ago with 10 wives. They said, no, you can only come in with 1. I thought it's a free country. Well, you use the word freedom, it doesn't make sense. When you say America has a certain range of behavior we permit, that would be better than saying it's freedom and democracy. You can't have a democracy unless you have equal purchasing power. So very few people that I know of live in the kind of house they want to live in. They live in what they can afford. And I don't think you drive a Mercedes, you drive what you can afford. He gets a used, beat-up Volkswagen. And he needs a brake job, but he earns minimum wage, so he says, maybe I'll get the brake job next week. If his brakes fail, you die in a Mercedes. You understand? We have signs, drive carefully, school children crossing. In the world I'm talking about, the kid presses a button, the gate doesn't open until the red light goes on, and the pavement looks like one comb inserted in the other. When he presses the button, the pavement turns up, so no car can hit a kid. Do you understand? That's caring. The rest is bullshit. Caring is dealing with a problem and solving it. Now, I told you what made a serial killer. I'm going to try to tell you, a banker, all he looks at is the rise, and he invests. Let's say you're a decent person, and he has a factory. I outsource to China, and you pay your help twice that of minimum wage, and he builds a playground for the women that work in his factory, for the children, so they don't have to go pick up their kids 10 blocks away. He can't stay in business very long if I outsource to China. So a nice guy can't make it. You understand that? Now let's say you work in a department store. You work for Macy's.